Oh, that's always so funny. Okay, so we're gonna start seated and we're gonna do some breath work just to cleanse ourselves and our mindset and our bodies and everything that we're doing today. So you can either sit up on a block, putting it in between your heels and sitting in Virasana, or you can sit cross-legged on a blanket or a pillow, or you can sit cross-legged on your block. I would just sit up on something just so then you have your hips higher than your knees, and then the energy can just flow down. So it's like you're making your body into a slide and the energy just like passes through you. Great. And once you're set up, you can just find your eyes come to a close. If there's something that I say that you don't understand, feel free to like peek them open, but then just find some movement like forward and back on your block or wherever you're sitting and right to left, just to notice where the middle is, where your perineum is pressing straight down into the block. You can take some circles and just take a few more until you find the midpoint. So we find ourselves straight up and down from the crown of our head, straight down through our perineum into the block. So we're sitting up tall and we're not crouched, down like we're typing at computers all day. Cool. Take one more normal breath, and we're gonna begin with Kapalabhati, which is called the breath of fire. So we're gonna kind of heat things up. So you're gonna find your arms in a V shape up overhead, and then with your hands, you're gonna make little cups. So as if there was rain falling down from the sky, you could catch it in your palms and then drink it or give it to someone as a gift. So we're sitting up super tall, our arms are raised. And Kapalabhati, if you haven't done it before, is just short, sharp exhales out through the nose, so our mouth stays closed. So we'll take one normal breath in just to be on the same page. So inhaling through the nose, exhaling out the mouth and the nose, then half inhale in, and then we'll take those short, sharp exhales. And keep going, and just really make sure that you're bringing your belly up and in as you go out, out, out through the nose. So it's kind of like you're sniffing something out, but you're really sharply breathing out. And count to 100, take 100 breaths and really think about letting something go here. You're refreshing your entire body, glandular system, nervous system, organs, letting it all go, still counting to 100, giving yourself a beginning, middle, and end, refreshing your system. Going as slow or as fast as you can or want to, keeping your arms really straight and long, catching all of that grace from above because of the effort that you're putting in. And take it for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hook your thumbs, big inhale. 3 more sips through the mouth just to balance everything out. Hold it at the top. And on your next exhale, let it go like you're popping a champagne bottle. And just let that all settle. Palms can come face up on your thighs. Notice how your body feels. Come back to your normal breath. Kapalabhati is always a really nice one to just get things going. I like to think of it as when we're doing really fast cats and cows, but we're just using our breath. One more breath that I really like to do in the beginning is just Vistrika breath. So you're gonna find your hands on your shoulders as if you have like these big shoulder things. Beautiful, ladies. And then as you inhale, you're gonna turn your body to the left and exhale, turn to the right. So this time you're gonna think about both the inhale and exhale, but still see if you can go a little bit faster than if you were just chilling and sitting. So we can get started. Inhaling to the left, exhale to the right. And see if you can do this all through your nose. And if you start getting dizzy, just close your eyes And I like to imagine myself here that I'm one of those little spinning tops that's getting pulled. So a child's playing with me, they're pulling me away. And then once they let that go, I'm going to shoot up into the sky and fly away. I don't know what those are called. So if anyone knows, let me know. But inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Maybe you get a nice little back crack or something as you're twisting. And you'll take 50 more. I always like setting a count so that I know when something's starting, I know when something's ending. There's no uncertainty. I just need to count to 50, which sometimes is harder than it seems. So nice. Really stirring things up, going from side to side. Twisting it up, using your breath. And take for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then hook the thumbs overhead. Take 3 more sips in to even it out. And then once again, exhale, champagne bottle pop. Let it all sigh out. Palms can be face up on your thighs. Notice if you're still sitting up tall on your perineum. I know we've been sitting for a bit. And find your normal breath again. You can gently begin to open your eyes if it's still closed. You can turn on the playlist at any point. If you already turned it on, cool, we got to do breath work to music. And then you're gonna find yourself in all fours on your mat. Wonderful, and I'm gonna half demo, half adjust Mariana, so you can watch her if you have questions or just watch me. So find your hands under shoulders and knees underneath your hips. I feel like we just did some cat-cow-like things, so immediately we're gonna do our favorite thing of flipping our wrists around. Yeah, so flip your wrists around 180 degrees, have a slight bend in your elbows, imagine someone's pulling your elbows apart, and then take circles to the right with your hips. Yeah, so nice. Then keep going and really notice if your knees are underneath your hips. Really try to find the leverage of your legs. So feet, shins, knees really pressing down into the mat so that you have stability to move around. Having that slight bend in your elbows to give you a conjunction in your arm for the energy to move through. And then take circles to the other direction. Whichever direction you didn't do. Beautiful. And feel free to circle your head around. Mariana has a really good gaze of looking down and out. That's wonderful. But if you want to give your head a little stir, shake out your neck. Just try not to look back towards your crotch. I've said this before, but it's like my favorite thing that my yoga teacher says. She's just like, there's nothing interesting at your crotch. And then we like move on and no one like addresses that. She said that and it's like, wait, what? But it's true. Unless you're not in yoga class, maybe it's interesting. Anyway, okay. Keep circling. Notice what's happening in your wrists. Make sure they're still parallel to the front of the mat. Take one more circle. And then come back to neutral. Flip your hands back around the normal way. And then find your 2 blocks after you've let that settle for a second. Or I guess you don't actually need your blocks. If you have 2 blocks and want to use them, you can put them underneath your hands, but otherwise just come up onto your fingertips and then place your right foot in between your hands. So we're coming into like a 90-degree thing, lifting up your hips. And then bring your arms up, interlace your fingers behind the base of your neck, elbows come up and in towards your face. And then this time you can tuck your chin under and you'll get a really nice stretch on the front of the left hip if you're pressing your hips forward and your body staying right on top of your hips. Looking so good. So nice, guys. Take one more breath here. Inhale, lift the arms up. Bring your fingertips back down. Find that connection between your armpit and your knee for a second. We'll come back to that. And then place your right knee back and just swap it out for the left. So left knee comes in between your hands. Bring your torso up. Arms come up. And then interlace your hands the weird way this time behind the base of your neck. Elbows come up and in, and tuck your chin. And I always try to do the opposite interlacing as much as we do the normal one, just because we're not used to it. And over time, as we do it, it'll eventually become more normal in your body. So it's nice to give our bodies new experiences so that they can learn more. Learning is fun. Take one more breath. Exhaling, reach the arms up. Place your fingertips back down, or if you had your blocks, you can place them on blocks. Bring yourself back to your all fours. And then just wanted to give us a little break there. We're gonna find ourselves sitting down again. You could either do this standing or sitting down. You can sit in Virasana if you have another block, or just find cross-legged. We're just gonna do an arm thing with the one block you have. Cool. So you're gonna find your block in between your hands. I'll come closer to the camera. And you're gonna find your elbows. Like I don't want you to have them touch. They should be parallel, but most of the time we tend to go like this. So you might want to think about like pressing them in together. And then we're just gonna do an arm little thing to get ourselves ready for something later. But you're gonna lift your arms straight up to the sky and then bend the block and elbows back behind you. Reach them up and then straighten out. And then just keep going. This just really gets ourselves knowing what is parallel with our arms at shoulder length. Obviously, not everyone's shoulder length is the size of a block or a book or whatever you're using, but it's close enough. And try to keep your hands like Barbie hands, like your fingers are together, but they're kind of relaxed. You feel this in your biceps and your arms. So if you wanted an arm workout, here it is. Cool. Take two more, just for fun. I hope the song is good. Mariana gets to hear me sing. Okay, and after you finish your second one, you can just let your block go and give your shoulders a little roll. Cool, just make sure your block is handy so that it's in arm's length. And then from there, you're gonna place your hands down, find them about a palm print in front of where your shoulders are, tuck your toes, and let's slowly come into our down dog. So for each breath, you're gonna move up a little bit more. So as you inhale, you're gonna bend your knees and stick your butt up. Exhale, hold it. Inhale, bend your knees and stick your butt up. Exhale, hold it, and then just keep going up until you get to the top. And then once you get to the top of your down dog, your biggest expression of your down dog, then you can pedal it out, shake an arm. Beautiful, Mariana. Really good, guys. You can see the effort that you're putting in to get your grace. But yeah, see if you can bend your knees and stick your butt up more, Bridget. Oh, you have socks on. That's always tough. But yeah, cool. Just keep pedaling it out. See if you can wrap your armpits in towards your heart. Take a little shake with your head. Cool. And on your next inhale, bring your body forward and through to a plank pose. Notice if you had to move your hands or your feet. Cool. And now bend your knees and stick your butt up again. And just come into a little bit of visible stillness in your dog. So you're still moving because everything in your body is constantly moving. But as you press down with your hands, your arms wrap in towards your heart. So your armpits are trying to almost reach up to the sky. Energy is shooting up your back. And then shoots out the butt like a shooting star. And then down the legs. So nice. Bend your knees a little bit more. And then widen your knees, but keep your feet together. Yeah. And you have more space. See if everyone can widen your knees so your knees are straight over your toes. That gives your butt more space. and your low back, which then helps your low back pain or anything like that, because you're giving it so much space to just breathe and be. Take one more breath. And on your exhale, begin to walk your hands back towards your feet, coming into a forward fold at the back of the mat. Once you get there, give yourself a little bit of a shake and then grab for opposite elbows. Cool. Once you've grabbed for opposite elbows, just let your head hang. There's a magnet between the crown of the head and the floor. We'll find that a few times today. Hint, hint. Cool, and just really let it dangle. Have that bend in your knees. And make sure your feet are at hips width distance. So if you didn't measure them out with 2 fists when you got there, you can measure that out now and widen them. Beautiful. And then let yourself sway. Take one more cycle of breath here. Let your arms dangle and then slowly, slowly begin to roll yourself up. Head is last to lift. And once you get to the top, once again, give yourself a little shoulder roll. Amazing. Cool. Find yourself just standing on your feet. Feet are at hips width distance. And once again, close your eyes. I really like doing this because there's not a lot of times that we're standing in life and are like, let me close my eyes right here, unless we're really tired and we'll fall asleep. But just notice what it's like to stand on 2 feet. You can rock forward and back and right to left to find the midpoint of your foot. And as we're here, taking a little meditative moment, just set an intention for the rest of class and the rest of your weekend. Maybe it's just one word that comes to mind. Maybe it's a phrase, maybe it's an action that you want to try to do more of. And just see if you can bring that up as we go through class and after class. On your next exhale, open your eyes. Inhale, reach the arms up, press palms together overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Walk yourself back out to your downward facing dog. Give yourself a little pedal if that feels good. And then find your visible stillness in your down dog. Inhale, lift your right leg up, down dog split. Yeah, exhale, step your right foot to your right thumb. Yeah. Coming into a low lunge. Once again, find that connection if you can with your armpit and your knee. Place your back knee down, untuck the back toes. Give yourself a little shake from right to left. So nice. And then see if you can keep this connection with your knee and your armpit and walk your hands out so they're at 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock. Yeah. Cool. On your next inhale, begin to reach your arms forward. Pause there for a second. So we're kind of in a flat back. You're really in your legs. And then reach yourself all the way up to the sky. Really good, guys. From here, grab opposite elbow again. Yeah, so finding that frame for your face, pressing your hips forward, finding this nice Anjaneyasana, pressing down with the top of the back foot so that your hips come forward and your chest, neck, and head can look up at the connection of the ceiling and the wall. So nice. Make sure your right knee is tracking over your right toes. Really good. On your next inhale, reach the arms up. Place your fingertips back down, and now we're going to get into those hamstrings for a little bit. As you inhale, you're going to lift your right toes up, come back into that runner stretch. Exhale, come back to your lunge. Inhale, tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, straighten both legs. Exhale, low lunge. And just take this flow as slow or as fast as you want. If you want to pause in the runner stretch, you can for as long as you want. If you want to pause with both legs kind of straightened, you can also do that. There's nothing stopping you. Cool. And just keep going. If you have a song on, you could also try to go to the beat of the song. And part of what we're doing today is kind of just finding a frame for our heads. So finding this armpit and knee connection really helps your body fit and gives me a sense of comfort. It might give you a sense of comfort. Our bodies are meant to fit. So ball and mitt fits are everywhere. When we hold our heels, when we hold our elbows. So what we're doing with our armpit and our knee is the same thing we do when we grab opposite elbows. One thing is how you do everything. Cool. Take one more round, and then we'll all meet in our little lunge. So nice. Your hands can come down on the ground. Tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, and then heel toe your right foot to your left thumb. Yeah, so now we're in this like weird cross thing, and then straighten your leg from here and really bring that right hip back. Yes. Yeah, and your knees can stay slightly bent. They don't need to come like super crossed or super straight. One more cycle of breath. As you exhale, bend back into the right knee, get hoppy on the back leg, and place your left knee outside of your right foot. And then come and sit on the ground. If you have a blanket and you want to put it underneath your hips, you can do it. Maybe we'll just do it for them. You can put that under to sit up tall. Otherwise, inhale, lengthen, sit up super tall. You can hug your right knee towards your chest or place your left elbow outside of it. Right fingertips come up behind you. Yeah, you're right. And then inhale, lengthen, exhale, twist. You can just put your arm on the ground so you use it for leverage, yeah. So using the arm that's behind you as a kickstand to sit yourself up super tall, find yourself on your perineum again. Yeah, looks really good. Keep looking over your right shoulder. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, twist. So nice. Taking a breath, getting some movement back into our spine. One more breath. And then as you exhale, come back to center. Counter stretch over to the left. Just give yourself a little moment to rock a little bit this way. Cool. As you let that go, you're going to find yourself in Navasana. So your knees are going to unwind and your feet are going to come into a tabletop, and then you're having an abs moment. Is it? Oh, yeah. Brianna and I were just having a conversation. Okay, take one more breath. Oh, I love it. One more. And then as you exhale, you're going to let your feet plant on the ground. If you're still sitting up on that blanket, that's great. We're going to take a little moment at Paschimottanasana. So sit up on your perineum again. Legs can come slightly bent. Toes facing up towards the sky, feet or hips width distance, sitting up super tall. And then let yourself walk forward and down. You can see if you can find that connection to your elbows and your knees. You're really framing up your body, and that means you can always bend your knees more to get your knees into your armpits. My knees are pretty bent, in case you want to see. I kind of look like this. But yeah, really let your head drop here once you get to your final expression. And you don't even need to go that far. If you don't touch your feet, awesome. If you do, cool. So nice. Just really see if you can find yourself in this ball. Take 2 more breaths. This is also a really good release for the low back when you let your head just completely relax. Roll back and pull back and release. After your second breath, slowly begin to bring yourself up to sit. And when you're ready, cross one shin over the other, come over your shins and come back into your downward facing dog. Find yourself in your dog and pedal it out. Let's take a little flow. So as you inhale, bring your body forward and through to a tuck-toed upward facing dog. And exhale, bend the knees, lift the butt up, downward facing dog. Take that 2 more times on your own count. Inhaling to come forward. Beautiful. Yeah. And see if you can keep your toes tucked and your legs engaged on the next one. Beautiful. Great. After you've taken your second inhale, lift the left leg up. Exhale, step your left foot to your left thumb, coming into your low lunge. Find that connection, armpit to knee. How many times will I say that today? Bend your back knee down, untuck the toes. Really good. So we're in that connection. Once again, find your left hand out to 10 o'clock on a clock, 2 o'clock with your right. Cool. Finding yourself in the middle of the stability of your legs. Reach your arms forward, forward, forward. Find that flat back. You're really in your legs now. And then reach yourself up. Grab opposite elbow. Wonderful. Yeah, pressing the hips forward. Letting your entire body become a crescent moon. Keeping that right angle with your front knee. Then you get a really nice angle from the knee all the way back to the back foot. So nice. Cool. Armpit stay by your ears. And on your next exhale, reach the arms up to the sky. Place your fingertips down, and then we'll come back into that flow. So find that armpit to knee. Inhale, lift the left toes up, come back to your runner stretch. Exhale, low lunge. Inhale, tuck the back toes, lift the back knee. Exhale, low lunge. Inhale, toes. Exhale, lunge. And if you're breathing slower than my count, just go slower. It's always good to do your own thing. Within reason, depending on the moment. But everything is great. Cool. Keep going. Also, give your head a shake, yes and no. Notice if you're holding any tension in your jaw, anything like that. And just let it release as you exhale. Take one more round. And then we'll all meet in our low lunge. Find your hands on the ground. Tuck your back toes, lift your back knee whenever you get there. There's no rush. And then you're going to heel toe your left foot all the way over to your right thumb. So you're in this like cross-legged lunge. And then begin to straighten your left leg. And as you straighten your left leg, pressing down to the front of the left foot. Sometimes I even like to put my hand on it. And then pulling your left hip back so that your hips stay square. Yeah, super nice. This is a really good one to get a different part of the hamstring. There's 3 parts to our hamstring. We just did the middle part. This gets us the outer part. We can maybe do the inner part later. Take one more breath here. Exhaling, bend back into your left knee. Get hoppy on the back leg and hop it outside your left foot. Great. Find yourself seated up, I don't know, on something if you want to. Just really make sure that both butt bones are pressing down. Left hand comes behind you this time. You can hug your left knee in or place your elbow on the outside. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. And if your neck allows it, see if you can turn all the way over your left shoulder to get a new perspective. Twists are all about twisting up our point of view, all of the organs in our body. It's a really nice way to just flush some things out. It's not flesh. And just keep breathing. You can imagine that you're almost leaning over a beach ball as you twist. Take one more cycle of breath. And as you exhale, come back to center, come over to the right side and take that little counter stretch. Oh, nice. As you unravel your legs, come back into boat pose, Navasana. And this time, we'll do something a little bit more difficult. So we're there. And as you inhale, you're going to lengthen out your legs and let everything cover, come lower. And exhale, come back up. Just taking this 5 times once again, beginning, middle, and end. Go at your own pace. If you want to go faster so it's over sooner, you can. If you want to go slower, because you love this, you also can. One more. If you were doing it with me and Mariana. Woo! And then place your feet down. Set yourself up for one more time in Pachimo. And this time, if you didn't really bend your knees last time, try to bend them a lot and just see what happens. Like even more, Lisa. I can see you. More. She's like, stop. Okay, cool. Sit up super tall and then walk yourself forward. Yeah, you can bend them even more. That was really good, Bridget. I bet Lucas and Anna are doing great too. The bigger the bend, the better it is, in my opinion. I'm a huge proponent of bending the knees. When everyone says, I'm not flexible, I can't do yoga, I'm like, have you thought about bending your knees? And there it's like I told them like some Albert Einstein physics equation. They're like, what? Yeah. Really see if you can keep your feet and toes pointed up towards the sky so you're at a 90-degree angle. Looks so good. Relax your head. You're holding it. And shake your head yes and no. Beautiful, Lisa. Looks so good. See if you can find that connection with your armpits. Take one more breath. And as you exhale, begin to walk yourself back. This time, cross the other shin over and then come back into your downward facing dog. So we're really getting both sides, all that good stuff. Cool. Pedal it out for a second in your down dog and then take a flow if you want, coming into that tuck-toed up dog and then coming back into your down dog. And then lovely for us and our abs, we'll all meet in a plank pose. Apologies, but not really. Cool. Finding yourself in your plank. Take one more breath here. And then as you wrap your elbows in even more, lower yourself onto your belly on the ground. Great. Cool. We're going to take some little back bendy things. You're going to find your fingertips outside your mat on the floor, still in line with your shoulders. Elbows are pointing up to the sky. As you inhale, arch your spine, lift your chest, neck, head up. Exhale, lower yourself down. Take one more straight through the center, inhaling up as far as you want to go. It doesn't have to be crazy. You don't even need to straighten your legs or arms. That's really good, Bridget. And on your next time you come up, as you come down, you're going to turn your head to the right and only bring your left shoulder to the ground. Yeah. And then inhale, come up through center. And exhale, only bring the right shoulder to the ground. So this just gets us into our shoulders a little bit more. We haven't done much shoulder work today. And we love our shoulders. Yeah, see if you can come up onto your fingertips as if you have an orange underneath your palms. Yeah. Take one more to either side, just so we're even Steven. Was that a show here? Did you guys ever watch Even Stevens? It was on Disney Channel in like the early 2000s. Okay, last one. Through center, and then come down through center. There's no rush. Cool. Great. So I hope your block is nearby, but if it isn't, that's also fine. You're going to find your hands underneath your shoulders again, and then replace your hands with your elbows and come into a Sphinx pose. Yeah. So our elbows now are right underneath our shoulders. So we have that frame, number one. Our arms are in parallel lines like they were when we did that fun thing, the block that ended up being bicep curls. Shoulders are down and back. And your butt is released. Try not to hold tension in your butt, but really pressing down through your arms. Imagine that you're pulling the mat back so that your head can regally come out like a sphinx in Egypt. Cool. Without fully coming out of this pose, see if you can grab your block and place it in between the L shape of your hands on the lowest, widest height on the ground. Cool. So we're still wrapping our elbows in, the right underneath our shoulders. We're measured with ourselves. You're gonna tuck your toes and come into a forearm plank. Yay. Cool. So just find your balance here. Take 3 breaths. Once again, fast if you hate it, slow if you love it. And then you're gonna continue walking your feet up to come into dolphin with your hands like this on the block. Still bend your knees and stick your butt up. This is still like a dog-like legs, just your forearms on the ground. See if your elbows widen a little bit and just keep bringing them up underneath your shoulders. Walk your feet in a teensy bit more if you can. Bend your knees, stick your butt up. So nice, yeah. See if you can walk them up a little bit more. Bend the knees, stick the butt up. Yeah, and then place your knees down. Remove the block. Take a moment and then come back into your downward facing dog. Yay. We love to see it. Feel free to take a flow. Cool. Just want to make sure our shoulders are ready for what we're going to do next. And then place your knees down onto the mat. And then if you have wall space, I would love for us to find a wall if you can. Do you have enough wall space, Lisa, to move your back mats up against a wall? You could even probably use your dresser. We're just going to take a little intermission to move our mats around. So find the mat up against a wall. This is like for safety reasons, but also for fun. Too many liquids over here and candles. I'm like nervous we're gonna like cook something. Cool. So you can all see me and Mariana. Ooh, fun. Do you want yeah, that's perfect. Cool. So we're come back into your dog, this time facing outwards away from the mat. Yeah, so the mat is our back and you can come into your dog. Once you get there, you can just pedal it out until everyone's also in their dog. And we'll take a few more little things before we practice our fun peak pose of today, which we are totally ready for. Cool. I know some of us are in our dog for a long time, but as you're there, bend your knees and stick your butt up and make sure there's more weight in your legs. Really nice. You look great, Bridget. Cool. From here, inhale, lift your right leg up and see if you can use the wall behind you. Yeah. Someone will paint it later. Press up against it and see what that's like. Yeah. Nice. And then step your right foot outside your right hand this time, coming into a lizard pose. Yeah. So you can place your back knee down and tuck the back toes. Your right toes are kind of out on first, like a first position. This looks great. Cool. You can place your back knee down and then take circles with your hips to the right. I'm going to grab your blocks. I hope you brought your block with you at some point in that transition. But yeah, take some circles around like Mariana is. Really good. And then take some circles in the other direction. Cool. Love it. Great. So this is just getting us into our hips a teensy bit more. Cool. Coming back to your neutral spine, bring your left knee more into the center of the mat and then cross your right knee over it. Yeah, so now we're kind of in like that all fours position with our knees crossed. And then from there, just take some rocks forward and back. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, really nice. So you have me and Mariana doing it in different directions, but this just gets into our hips a little bit more before we keep moving. We're crossing our legs. This is like a twist for our legs. Yeah, it's hard, right? It's so hard. Cool. Okay, the next time you are back on your what's it called? Sitting on your butt. You can either sit on a block or a pillow if you have it, but just sit make sure your both sits bones are on the block and you're not like still sitting on your heel at all. Really nice. Great. Looks so good. Yeah. And once again, find that perineum of yourself sitting up super tall, crown of the head, shooting up to the sky. And then from there, take circles again. Great. Yeah, circling to the right. Notice if you try to feel your hips moving, or your pelvis moving all on the block, and see if you're hitting each number on a clock face, which numbers you're making and which numbers you're missing. I feel like I never hit like 2 or 3 on this side. But we're circling around. Yeah, your hands can be on your hips or they can be on your ankles, whatever's easier. Cool. And then take circles in the other direction. Wahoo. I start singing really weird things when there's like silence or like start saying weird things. Cool. Take one more. And then just sit up super tall. Notice how your hips and knees feel. Great. This is a really big hip opener, so good job, everyone. And then bring yourself back up to your all fours position. You're gonna tuck your toes and we're gonna do a fun little spinny thing. I think we've done this before. You're gonna lift your knees and then start walking your hands to the left. So to the left, everything you own in the box to the left, and then spin yourself all the way around so that then your left knee, yeah, keep going, Mariana, but keep your knees crossed. Yeah, keep spinning until your left knee comes in front of your right knee. Like this? Yeah, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. All the way to, I'll try to keep turning. I think you switched up where your legs were. Yeah. Just find yourself with your left knee in front of your right. We'll practice that later at the club. Watch us in the back of the club doing this. Okay, and then find those rocks forward and back. Yeah, you can move the prop out if you used it before. Yeah, and see how much you can do with no hands. It's really hard to be in your legs. So you'll need to use your hands a lot. But just some weird little funky things. My favorite teacher, Kate, taught me this. She is the best. She also taught me that arm thing with the biceps. So giving credit where credit is due. Take one more. And then find yourself sitting back in between your feet. Find that block under you. Or if you want to use a pillow, you can use a pillow. Just anything to make sure that your back is sitting up really tall, and then take circles to the left with your hips or your torso. Just circling around our hips. Our hips are our biggest joint in our body. So any love we can give to them is benefiting the rest of our body because everything's connected. Which is why sometimes when someone says, my knee hurts, the problem isn't where the problem is. Similarly in life, if you're upset about something or you're scared of something, it's typically because of something else that's happened to you or some other historical thing, and not because of that problem in that moment. So when you're problem solving, it's good to obviously look at the problem, but also look around at what's connected to it and see if that can be the way you solve it. And circle to the right. Because I know when my knee hurts, it's because my hips are tight or my butt is tight. And then rolling out my butt or doing something like this brings less pain to my knee. Great. Keep circling. Once again, on this side, notice which parts of the clock maybe you're missing. Maybe it's analogous to the other side, like if I miss 2 and 3 o'clock on the other side, I'll probably miss 10 and 11, or maybe I miss like 7. Each side is different, which is also why we want to do both sides to get that experience and see if we can find some symmetry. Take one more round and then sit yourself up super tall. Great. Bring yourself out of this. Let's try to spin again. So tuck your toes under, keep your legs the way they are, lift your knees, and then spin all the way to the right. This time stopping when you're facing the wall in the back of your mat, and your legs should have unraveled and they'll probably be pretty wide. Yeah, and then from where you are, because we have the wall in front of us, and I find this really nice to do, find your hands on the wall, and you'll probably be like your arms are bent, and then walk yourself back so that your arms are straight and your head can just hang between your arms. Yeah, this is a really nice one for your back. And let your head just drop. Yeah. Yeah, so nice. Really good, guys. And you can do this on a bed or a couch or anything. It doesn't have to be a wall, but because we're there, might as well. Take one more breath here, really letting your head hang and your everything just hang over. And then gently let your arms drop. And now you're just in a forward fold. It's somewhere in your mat, the middle of your mat. Great. From here, we never evened out one of the opposite elbow sides. So just do opposite elbow and let your body hang. And let your feet stay as wide as they are. They're probably a little bit wider than hips width distance, and that's great. Yeah, and just really let that head drop. Crown of the head has a magnet to the floor or a magnet to the sky, depending on the direction. Take one more cycle of breath. And then let your arms go. Slowly, slowly begin to roll yourself up to stand. Head is last to lift. You're stacking vertebra on top of vertebra like Jenga blocks on top of one another. Ooh. Cool. So from here, we are now moving into headstand. So we just stood up, but we're gonna have to get back down. But if you want to watch me, I'm going to demo on Mariana's mat. There's so many ways for you to get the same effects of headstand without it actually being a headstand. So I'm going to give the first options first, and then we can get into it. So what we just did, you can do again. So we were just doing a forward fold. And if you want to widen your legs and do a wide-legged straddle, and then place the crown of your head on a block, that's great. Your legs can be more close together and you can get another block. This is the same thing. So if you're not feeling headstand today, just do this. Honestly, doing this every day is a good thing, but I don't do it. But we should. What we're getting with headstand is just a connection between the crown of the head and something to get pressure on our head to feel that. So that does the same exact thing. If you want to try to get into headstand, this is part of the reason why I moved us to the wall, just because it's nice to have a boundary. You're gonna, once again, find your arms like this, yay. And I'll do this way because I'm facing you. So I like kind of coming into how we're sitting with our knees together. And so it's like a child's pose that way. This is honestly how I start all the time. Then I'm going to grab opposite elbows on the ground because that's the width of your shoulders. From there, I'm going to just grab and then place my arms down on the ground. And then I'm going to interlace my hands together. Do whichever interlace you want to do. If you want to do the opposite one, Godspeed. But if you want to just do the normal one, do that. And then I uninterlace my pinkies. So I have a solid base on the ground with my two pinkies, my forearms, and my elbows. And 80% of the weight is in your arms and not on your head. So you need to make sure this is set up well. Then you're going to come to the crown of your head and place your hands over your head like it's in a basket on your hands. You're going to tuck your toes, bend your knees and stick your butt up and come into that like dolphin-like pose that we did, which is why we did that earlier. Shocking. And then if that's your like, I don't want to do anymore, great. Stay here for a few minutes, come in and out of it. Otherwise, you can walk your feet. Let me just switch directions. You can walk your feet in and come into like this egg shape thing. Or then from there, you can like lift one leg up. You can lift both legs up. Whatever feels good. And then you can just chill. Also, if you're feeling, I don't know, nervous, just come closer to the wall and then you can try to come up to the wall. Yeah, so try out whatever you want to try today. If someone wants me to walk through that again, I can. I don't think Mariana wants to do headstand, so I'm happy to do it again. But yeah, the most important thing is just measuring up at the base with your arms. Yeah, you can do it, Bridget. Try it. Do you want to try it? I can adjust you. Okay. Oh, then do the forward fold. Whichever way you want to do it. Yeah. Like this. Yeah, or however high you need it to be, so that the crown of your head can be on it. That's front of your head. Yeah. Yeah. You can just have that slight bend in your knees again. Yeah. Beautiful. And take it a few times if you're feeling really frisky today. Just take it a few times. I'm just going to come up one more time for the fun. And honestly, over time, it just gets easier. Like I could not do headstand for my life. Now I can. So just got to practice. But if you never want to do a headstand in your life, that's also an amazing goal. Take one more breath wherever you are. And then we're all going to meet in a child's pose. So bring yourself down gently. Try not to jump at all. I know I didn't say that, but never jump into headstand unless you're a fancy person trying to pike up or something, but even then. And then let your arms just release, let your forehead come to the ground. You'll get a nice release in your low back. Cool. If your neck is kind of hurting here, sit your hips back, and then you can place your hands underneath your chin and come into like a TV watching pose. So elbows are on the ground. Yeah. 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 Like this. Take one or two more breaths here, just noticing how your body feels after going upside down. It flips everything around, so it gives you some new energy. And we're about to come onto our backs, and we're going to end in a restorative back bend as our Shavasana. But if you want to come into one more dog, or if you want to try headstand again, or if you want to leave, you can do anything that you want. But you'll want your one block as you come down to the ground. So on your own time, just sit up or slowly roll gracefully onto your back. Yeah. Amazing. I'll set you up. Just like that. Great. So your feet are going to be underneath your knees, just like Mariana has. And then your arms can come just down by your sides. And then using your legs, last little bit of effort, lift your hips up to the sky. And then you're going to place this block right under your sacrum. Your sacrum is like the lowest bone on your body before your butt starts. Yeah, that feel good? Amazing. So then once you're there, then you can let your eyes come to a close, let everything just soften. And this is a really nice, gentle back bend. We didn't do that many back bends today, but I sometimes like to end in a back bend because in our yoga theory, the way that we think about things is our forward folds are ways to go inward and like be introspective and have contact with ourselves and comfort. And our back bends are how we go out in the world and do things. They're how we put our best foot forward and how we show ourselves and our heart to the world. And if we end in a little bit of a back bend, and we get a little bit of a nice urge at the end of class to be ready to go back out in the world after yoga. A lot of yoga is working on being your best self, doing what feels good, and being our best self is how we can be our best selves to others. So it's always a balance of going inward and going outward. Just let your eyes close here. We'll lie here for a few more minutes. Let everything settle from the last hour. Really just let yourself be here and do nothing. If you notice yourself going to to-do lists or things that you forgot to do before this, or remembering that some weird memory, those things always come up for me. I'm like, why am I thinking about this? Just focus on your breath. Inhales and exhales. Yeah, and see if you want to make it audible, that's awesome. See if you can listen to the sound of your own breath or your neighbor's breath if you're practicing with someone. And on each exhale, see if you can let out a teensy bit more tension, whether it's in a finger or a toe, or the front of your left hip. See if you can just let more of that release. Take 10 more deep breaths. Once again, giving yourself that beginning, middle, and end. The comfort of knowing there's so much uncertainty around us. So we control what we can control, and we control our reactions to what we can't control. There's absolutely no rush to your breaths, just in case you're breathing faster than others. After you've finished your 10th breath, you're just going to lift your hips up enough to remove the block and place your back down on the ground, letting your feet come as wide as the mat and knocking your knees in towards one another. But if you're still breathing, just keep breathing. Yeah. So just coming back to your neutral spine. Take 5 breaths here. Releasing the back one more time. After you've finished your 5 breaths, no rush. Big, deep breaths are amazing. You'll roll over onto your right side. The right side is the side of the liver, the side of what we put out into the world. So we want to go on Ooh, I like that. Want to go about our day. And then just when you get to the right side, you'll just press yourself up to sit. And try to come and sit exactly how you started, just for a nice bookend, keeping your eyes closed and your gaze soft. We'll all meet seated. Coming back to your breath, remembering where we started, it's all about the breath. It's all about how we can combine our mind, body, and breath to work in unison the way that they all want to. We'll bring our hands to press at the center of our chest, coming back to that intention that you set when you were standing. How can you go about the rest of your day, month, week, year with that intention? We'll bring our thumb knuckles up to third eye center. Take one more breath, inhaling through the nose. Big sigh, exhale out the mouth. Gratitude to your minds and bodies for all that they do for you every single day. And we'll end practice with a final bow. Thank you all so much. Amazing work. You put in so much effort. And now you get the grace of the rest of your day. Yay. How does everyone feel? I'll stop recording. Bye, recording people.